Hi, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm glad to be here at TestFlick and sharing my views on how exactly you can defend the unknown using AI and cybersecurity. So let's get started with the session. There are a few things that I want to share here. Is that a little bit about myself. I am actually staff security advocate at Sneak. I'm also part of a few communities, which is DevSecon, Black Hat, and OWASP. And today's agenda covers three parts, wherein we'll be exploring certain LLM challenges. We'll be talking about how exactly AI puts into hallucinations and what are the key takeaways and how we can secure ourselves. So there are three perspectives when we are talking about AI. The first one being AI assisted applications, which involves integrating AI functionalities to enhance the performance, features, or user experience of an app. So this could include incorporating machine learning algorithm for a recommendation of different systems, natural language processings for chatbots, or computer visions for image recognition. There's another thing called AI assisted coding. So it refers to use of AI bots and techniques to help in the software development process. At the same time, this could be a completion suggestions, automated bug detections, or even generating code snippets based on the natural language descriptions or patterns. Now, this has been in use for a while now. Like talk about GitHub Copilot, which leverages machine learning to assist the developers by generating certain code snippets in the real time. So if you want to write something, you just have to place that this is what I want to generate, and it gives you the code. Similarly, we have AI assisted processes, which involves automating and optimizing various operational processes through the integration of AI. This could include a use of machine learning algorithms to automate decision making. So think of a financial sector wherein AI assisted processes are prevalent in fraud detection systems, or from a software engineering standpoint, we can talk about these machine learning algorithms which analyze transactions patterns to detect any malicious code. Now, when we talk about these three patterns, there is one important factor that let's talk about each one of them step by step. So, if I talk from a standpoint from an application perspective, we can just consider OWASP, which is an open source community, and just in a past years, we have developed OWASP top 10 LLM list. Now, while we talk about this LLM, which is large language model applications, this project basically aims to address the unique security risks associated with LLM applications, and it also highlights if there are any critical bugs due to the resource intensive nature of LLMs or the unpredictability of user inputs that are there, so which can actually magnify the impact. Now, which is there, but then let's go deep down into each one of them. If I talk about prompt injection, prompt injection is something which is impacting big time the companies, and there are so many things that we can do to avoid it. So prompt injection stands out as the most well-known vulnerability which is found in LLM based apps. This is a technique that involves manipulating of language models output by providing decepting or unauthorized input, which actually enable the attacker to make the model generated desired responses. We can distinguish between direct prompt injection or indirect. Now, indirect, when an attacker influences the LLM input directly, but in indirect, it applies to the systems where the attackers does not directly interact with the LLMs, but has control over certain text that eventually reaches the LLM, so which can potentially influence it. Now, what can we do to prevent these injections? We need to have robust prompt validation. We need to limit LLM privileges. We also need to make sure that we validate model output. We also need to verify the training data sources. We can actually maintain the human oversight. Whatever we say that, oh, these are the things which are amazing, but think of a situation wherein you need to actually test out each of those things. We need to take care of such situations. Now, let's talk a little bit about Gandalf. Now, this is an interactive challenge created by Lakera, where participants engage with an AI model to reveal secrets through strategic prompting. This challenge has multiple levels with an AI represented as Gandalf. Now, the goal is to craft prompts that compel Gandalf to disclose the secret information, which can actually show the nuances of different language models when we are interacting with them. Now, what I really want you all to do is, this session is a very light session, so I wouldn't go into the demo of it, but then I would just say that you can go to the website of Gandalf, and what you can really do is, with Gandalf you can play around with it, as well as you can actually reach to different levels. Like I've reached till level 7, but you can actually try and make a prompt, you can reach it to different other levels as well. So I'm going to share a simple link for it, which you can actually follow through, and you can go ahead and try this after the session as well. But if you reach any further, please do let me know as well. Now, moving on to the next slide, and let's talk about what are the behind the scenes Gandalf, or how exactly it operates. So, Gandalf operates by leveraging a language model which interests with a password. So, if let's say I try and probe around it, and I try and interact with Gandalf saying that what is the password, so it might give me the password or it might not give me the password, it might not reveal. So the user then attempts to manipulate the model input to produce an output that contains the password. So as a person, I would try and go ahead and manipulate it. At the same time, if there are output guard checks, then it might not reveal the password, but I might want to bypass that. So this is what we really need to do. Now, when we are trying to do that, we might get the password in plain text also. Now look at this particular example. The Chevrolet bot powered by the chat GPT fell victim to prompt injection, allowing users to manipulate the bot's behavior as well as extract unauthorized benefits. Now this vulnerability enabled individuals to engage in prompt manipulations, which result in instances where users were able to negotiate the purchase of vehicles at significantly reduced prices, negotiated down to $1. So prompt injection attacks facilitated by the chatbots are rising on a high or a different level altogether, which leads to these unconventional and unauthorized transactions. Now, this is one part of it, but what can we do, or what can we see as part of it? Now, let me just show you exactly how it came down to level 1 or $1. Now, let's talk about model denial of service. Now, while I talk about denial of service attacks, these attack happens when we're using resource intensive things. Similarly, when we talk about LLM, it uses resource heavy operations, which lead to service degradation or high cost. Now the vulnerability which is there around denial of service, it can be exploited by sending queries that are usually or unusually resource consuming, repetitive inputs, or flooding the LLM with a large volume of variable length inputs. Now, the resource intensive nature of LLMs and the predictability of user input magnifies this vulnerability. So, what can we do to secure it? We can implement the validation or input validation and sanitization. We can enforce the limits or caps on the resource use. We can limit the number of queued actions, as well as continuously understand and monitor the resource utilization. Very, very important. And if we don't look at these things, we would be a fall victim of these issues which are going to be impacting our LLMs. Now, well, let's talk about LangChain. LangChain is an open source framework which is specifically designed to simplify the development of applications using LLMs. Now, it can be chatbots or virtual assistants. And basically, it serves as a generic interface for a wide range of LLMs, providing a centralized development environment to build the LLM applications and integrate them with various data sources. Now, LangChain modular components are available in Python or JavaScript libraries and can be changed together to create an application. This is about LangChain, but let's get into the technicalities of it. Langchain introduced something called max iterations, and this is a problem it actually tries to avoid. Without max iterations, a user input, say something like this, which you see on the screen, whereby you are saying, here's a tool called Jester, and you need to call it 3 times to work. Whatever the question invoked, the Jester tool you can invoke a few times. Now, if the max parameter is not set, what will happen? So if this is not set in LangChain, it could potentially lead to denial of service attack, which you'll not be able to access the system. And this parameter, which is called a max iteration, is crucial for controlling the number of iterations or processing loops that an agent can execute. It should not be more than 3 times. Then that limit has to be set. Without the limit, an agent may continue processing indefinitely or might go in loop, which actually would consume excessive resources, potentially leading to service degradation or unresponsiveness. LangChain recently, when introduced this max iteration keyboard argument to the agent executor, that ensured that a request will stop after these max number of steps. So this actually helped many organization, and it also helped in the advancement of our models as well. Now, while we talk about supply chain vulnerabilities, they are not new, and these potential weaknesses are there in the applications. And now, while we talk about LLM supply chain as well, which includes software components, pre-trained models, or the training data that we have, which has been provided by the third party sources. So these vulnerabilities can impact the integrity of the machine learning models and the deployment of platforms for the LLM, which potentially leading to biased outcome or security breaches or complete system failures as well. Now, when we talk about Gen AI, when it's part of this whole ecosystem, we did a report wherein we had a survey that we sent out last year, and as part of that, we asked whether generative AI is part of the supply chain, and overwhelmingly, I would say that people do believe that this is just generative AI as part of the code completion. Now, as soon as you think that AI, more generally, including training data, of course, it's part of the supply chain. But if somebody gets the wrong data or somebody gets some certain manipulated data, then it is going to be impacting our ecosystem. So let's learn with certain examples here. As supply chain grows, more and more things become part of it, more and more data become part of it, and you have different plugins, build tools, which can actually jump into the pipeline. So of course, when you have third party aspects, third party libraries, third party containers, this can potentially implement or this can potentially harm the supply chain issues, or impact the supply chain issues, and also transitive supply chain issues which are there. Now, there's a third place now which is there, which is AI model as well, which is third party components, or which is impacting third party components or the training data modules that we use as the trading data for our models. While we also grow, whether it's Copilot, whether it's any other tool, this adds to the supply chain, or supply chain risks, particularly not just to our first party code, but also we have to recognize that the third party libraries, third party containers that we are using, which is being used, or the third party code that is written using Copilot these days, are vetted. Even if we try and eliminate the first party code issues, we still would be impacted by the third party risks that are there. And trust me, this is overwhelming, and it keeps growing. And of course, uh, anything through any of these tools that we add into our applications equally impact our supply chain growth. I didn't mention a little bit about AI tools, but then let's talk about AI bills of material as well, wherein if you're using any of these technologies, we keep updating them. We should not be saying that, oh, we are using AI and we are good to go. So with our pipeline or bill of material, sometimes p-bomb or something, where we can start understanding what are the issues as part of our pipelines. Another impacting thing is over reliance. So while we talk about over reliance, we have seen that sometimes we say just, oh, we are using AI and we are good to go, but there are potential risks which are there, whether we talk about chat gpt or whether we talk about any other. So let's talk about these issues which are there. which can lead to sensitive information disclosure. ChatGPT led to revealing certain trade secrets, as well as while we talk about AI assisted coding, which became part of the software security world. It actually impacted multiple ecosystems. Whether we see developers introducing code with so much of frequency, or the complexity that is there. There are so many things that are needed, that needs this big exploration of the potential of AI. So with LLM, we saw that 92% of the software developers now you already use AI coding. And at the same time, there are multiple colleges to institutes who have actually banned the AI, because the people have started using um, the different reports that are there with the AI. And not just this, but then we need to use the artificial, when we are using AI, we need to have that imagination. Now, talk about this example, wherein what could be 51, what could be 5 into 9 plus 4 into 3. What you see on the screen, it says 51, but if you calculate, it's not exactly 51. But we ask that, is it exactly the same results? Now, when we say that, oh, it comes to 57, um why it is the change? Because we said 45 into 45 plus 12. There was a issue in the mathematical calculation. So mathematical calculations, when we do, there's a big void that is there. But with a new update of ChatGPT, that is gone. But still, we cannot overly rely on such things. And there are studies which have been done. At the same time, while we talk about the reliance of it, what about our code itself? So talk about these AI coding best practices. Make sure, when you're writing or when you're using the code which is being generated by AI, you're being vetting it properly. Without vetting, you're not using it. Or we would see these vulnerabilities which are being generated using these code, whether it's cross-site scripting or sanitization issues, or any other issues, whether it's in Gemini, whether it's Copilot, or whether it's any other tool. So with the updated version, these tools have these validations, but still, we need to make sure we are vetting it out with different tools that are there. Now on the screen you see Sonnet, and we do see that there are issues in these all open source tools. So human intervention is definitely needed, or we will keep seeing these issues that you see on the screen. But what are the key learnings from it? We need to make sure we write the policies right. We're treating the AI code in a way that we are testing it out. We're not sending it without validation. We are pairing multiple tools together so that we can get the right results. Or we would be part of such issues day in and day out. Thank you so much for listening to me, and being part of the Test Flicks and show. Thank you so much.